Good day, happy Friday, everybody out there in crypto land. It's Easter, which means, well, some of us have time off. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you're enjoying what's going on in the markets. We do have an Easter promotion going right now, ladies and gentlemen, where you can get 25% off the Become a Master course, as well as our community annual subscription, as well as live trading floor annual subscription. In the description below, you will find all the details for that, as well as where you can get 10% off your trading fees with FTX. If you haven't got your trading account, I suggest that you do. Anyway, from here, this is sponsored by FTX, and of course, I'm the one who's taking you through this scan itself. Look, I did a scan this morning, and well, throughout this week, it's been heavily weighted towards the higher time frames. The 8-hour has been the time frame that I've been stalking for quite some time, and last night at 6 p.m. we got what we were looking for. Those, when I say we, those of us who know the trading strategy, the crypto cradle. And 6 o'clock also happens to be the time when I'm getting the kids' dinner ready. So I didn't actually I got the dinner ready. I did what I could, and unfortunately, the trades triggered very, very quickly, and I was coming back from the beach. I just didn't have time to get the laptop fired up, and they did trigger almost immediately after first setting up. And good day to everybody out there. Thank you for tuning in. Lovely to have you here. Okay, so here's what I was looking at. This 8-hour candle right there, it wasn't the most bearish, but it was bearish enough. That's the Bitcoin 8-hour cradle. It's dropped. It's hit 1-to-1. This was the one that I really wanted, though. It was Ethereum. Look at this beautiful cyclicity. Beautiful bearish candle. Retesting those old lows, which I do like. It's not a bonus factor, but it's just a nice little, it just sort of creates good cyclicity. So I do quite like that. And have a look at that. Little bearish candle in the cradle. Boom, boom. It triggered straight away and hit 1-to-1. Well, it looks like, well, yeah, it would have hit 1-to-1 in that first 8-hour candle. So there's been a number of great trades out there to the downside for the crypto cradle, trading one of the strategies that I employ in my teachings that a lot of members did get a hold of and did get their profits from, or at least they're 1-to-1 right now. G'day, Winston. Hi, Hernan. And yeah, it's one of those things, right? I wasn't able to get. Oh, you got the Bitcoin and ETH. Good on you, Brendan, sorry. Yeah, we'd stalked, we'd waited, and like once the trend was set on the 8, and I do like to see, I do like to look at the charts in the sense of what time frame is working best. So I flick through the charts to say, okay, is it the 4-hour? You know, are we pulling back into the cradle beautifully and calmly and nicely? Well, you look at this, you'd have to say no. Then you move to the 8-hour, and you can see the cyclicity here has been really good. That's what I do when I'm looking at my charts. I'm with you, Hernan. We don't have as many watches of this, but, you know, we'll deal with that. We'll get it bigger. One of the things that would help a lot would be if you like, share, and subscribe. The sharing component and the like component does help us to reach a larger audience. I'm okay with it all, though. I'm very happy to just be doing what I do. I love what I do. And those that want to watch, welcome to the party. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to do a scan as we normally would do and try and create a watch list for the day. Now, I will say this. Currently, because, as I say, the 8-hour has been our time frame of choice as far as cyclicity goes, with it being current right now that we haven't broken this low, we're probably going to find ourselves in a little bit of no man's land. What I mean by that is that we're not going to have as much trending opportunity because it is the higher time frames that have moved, it is the higher time frames that have set up, and it is the higher time frames for which many of you in the community and whatnot will be now short, which is great because you are hedged to the downside. If we do see Bitcoin have a big move, or any of the other markets really, then you're in a position where you can profit, and that's what we're all about, really, is doing exactly that. So as I go through, we shall see if we have anything of interest. It would be the lower time frames I would suggest, and I'll be looking at little levels and little pullbacks, but right now on Bitcoin, there's nothing really there. Now, if we can break down through the low of yesterday's candle, which is 39,548, That's where I can see potential for a bit more selling, possibly even a very strong day of selling like what we saw back on the 11th of April. But we have not done that yet, therefore we have not got enough information. Okay, 1 inch, very much the same. I mean, you'll see across these 8 hours, another bearish candle right there. There's nothing there of interest to me at the moment, given that we are sort of still in that mid-range. We haven't taken out those lows, and we still only moved a little bit right now. We're also noting at the moment that on a number of our charts here, we still have uptrends on the 4 hour. Look, higher low, higher low, higher high, pulling back. That's something that needs to be considered as well. The 4 hour here, I'm not looking to go long. I'm not looking to go short. Cardano, I was stalking for a long time, hoping to get a pullback into $1. That would have been a perfect trade. It did give a bearish candle. It did move. But currently, what's it doing? Not a great deal, as you can see there. We need to see the cyclicity come back on these lowers for it to open the door for us here. ALCX. Just a straight line move, more or less. Big spikes. It's very, it's not very nice. They're very big spiky chart. I'm going to leave that. Algo. Now we see this on the daily as a bearish candle right there, and we consider, well, maybe that's a cradle, but we don't have trend. There is no trend there. Nothing to work with at all, so we must simply move on. Alpha. Very much in a similar position, given that there's not a great deal of downward swing at this stage. If that continues, if we continue to see further downside, yep, it'll be good. Here's another one, AltPerp, beautiful bearish candle right there, very similar to that of Ethereum. One-to-one move very quickly. Now we're just hanging in there. Do we have a trend on the one? Not yet. Again, we need to now see it push down to get that cyclicity back, and there is none anywhere. Look, it's just all over the show, so we move on. Ampleforth has been sideways and messy for quite some time. Let's have a look at our wave. Very sideways. I can leave that. Little sideways here again, unfortunately, on Atom. Audio. Yeah, it's had a move to the upside, but not a great deal to work with. As you can see, there is a little higher low, but the 8 hour wouldn't match that up. So the next higher time frame, according to the rules, would not be trending. AVAX, another one here with a daily bearish candle, but no downtrend there at all. Yeah, I can leave AVAX. AXI, still very flat. Again, another chart, very, very sideways. Badger, also very, very sideways there. Balancer here, check it out. No trend. When we look at the 2 day, it's just straight up. It's had a very good run, don't get me wrong. But there's nothing there for me. Yeah, there's nothing really there. Band. Again, a very sideways looking chart. And you guys know my perspective or my take on if there's no trend. If there's no trend, if there's no clarity, if there's no cyclicity, it makes it very difficult to make a very well-informed and confident decision. No trend makes it more or less no trade right now until we get something further. Bayo's too spiky, too much all over the place. Basic attention token, as you can see here, again, it is the 8. It pulled in quite deep, not suggesting that was a trade, but now we are in this sort of middle ground, no man's land. Will we see the market then set a higher low and push on? I don't know. But for those that did capture those shorts, you're in a very good position. Bitcoin Cash had a good spike up, didn't it? But not a great deal to work with there. Here's what I'm looking at. Binance here. This is more for those that have done the full course, as it's a breakout potential. That being said, if we do break down, a pullback into that level could be good, and that's actually getting closer now. So we're gonna mark that little bubba in purple. Nothing there on the 4, but those lowers may start to build in, especially if we were to get a build, like another test into there. Worth keeping an eye out on. Also noting here as well that there's a bearish candle there. It's not tradable, but again, we'll just see how that goes. Bancor, I can leave that. Maybe some support down there. Let's have a quick look. Oh, it's just so distant. The steps apart are wild. Going to leave it. Not much happening on BSV. Again, there's more, like it's just not got any cyclicity there. Cake. I know a number of people did take cake. This bearish candle here. Looks as though it's hit 1-to-1 now. Again, nothing really there for right now. Let me just double check there's no 1 hour trend. I mean, it's not really what I'm after. We want to see more. If we're going to see, if we're going to get shorts, we need to see further downside to get that cyclicity back. Chili's held that support line. A breakout from here. Very good move that was handled by the community and many good profits taken through there. Stock would have been trailed to here as this candle broke up. Great profitable trade of that period leading into the back end of March, where we did see a number of great trades available, but now not so much. Compound. I looked at this morning, high or low, but look at the 8. We didn't have a trend on the 8, which ruled it out. So nothing there now. Convergence, absolutely sideways. No, thank you. Cream needs to step its way out to really consider this to be a high or low. We need to break this high to get the trend back. It's been a bit wonky for quite some time. Kronos. The 8 hour is the trend here, and that's why it's taking us a little bit to find any really good action right now. Because we are in the middle. We look sideways more than anything. We had the pullback, and then we've come down, but now we're looking very sideways across many markets. Crow, not one for me. Neither is CRV. Very similar scenario there. Quick look at the 12. Yeah, no, I'm not interested in that. Dawn. Bit spiky, not the greatest looking chart if I'm honest. How did that look yesterday on DeFi? Big candle. Right, DeFi now. Again, if we're going to take shorts, it looks as though we're going to need to see at least the 1 hour take out these lows, therefore giving us a lower high and giving us some form of trend on the lower time frames for us to work with. And it seems to be the case fairly market wide. Dent, I can leave. Dodo is also sideways. Doge, very sideways as well. I'm not interested if we are sideways. It is as simple as that, as is Dot, as is Dragon. Dragon yesterday, did it give that? Yeah, okay, I had this in my watch list, but didn't give that candle bearish there. Again, if we're going to go short, we need to see these lows taken out to get that trend back in play. And if you are just tuning in now, guys, we've got our Easter sale, 25% off the Become a Master course and any of your annual subscriptions, be it community or live trading floor. If you have any questions, please visit TRADERCOBB.com in the little chat box in the bottom right-hand corner, I think it is, and you can ask away there. Okay. It's not really worth a reference pointing that at this stage because there's just not enough there at the moment. This support through these lows is really what we need. Therefore, we would have that leg down, that proper step down. But until we start to show a little bit more, it's not really one for me. Quick check of EOS on the 8. Little bearish candle there, pushing lower, but again, not a great deal to work with. Ethereum Classic, what have we got here? We'll check that 1 hour right away. Closer to getting to breakdown through here. If we do get that, we will have a trend. But for now, again, there's a lot of sitting back and waiting at the moment. And whilst with trading, we may want to be active a lot more than we actually are. Be careful what you wish for. Because if you want to be active, then you will be active. If you want to become a good trader and have consistency in your returns, then you need to act like a good trader. And a good trader, the idea behind that, and that's why we have our community and live trading floor as well, is to know when we're standing back a little bit. Right now is standing back a little bit. Yesterday was the short options that we were waiting for. We've been waiting quite some time, and that's what good traders do, is they wait for their opportunity. They do their scans so that they have a pretty good understanding of where the market is and what sort of outcomes that we would like to see unfold for us to get our trades. They know when the candles that they're looking for close. They know what time frame is more likely going to be the play on the day. Therefore, they can structure their day and they can set alarms to come back, say 15, 20 minutes before that candle closes, go through that watch list and make sure they don't miss anything. You've got to have your day plan, you've got to have your scan, you've got to trade around the right times when those candles close. It's not a difficult process to do, but you need to stick with it. Therefore, that way you won't miss anything, or you won't miss out on as much. You can't be there if certain things are happening, like me not getting Ethereum on the short yesterday. That was simply because I was feeding my children. Now, I could have told them to sit there and shut up, but they wouldn't have. And I knew what was coming. I saw it was there. For me to get my laptop out and get everything done, it triggered very, very quickly, and I didn't get it. But for those who did take it, as I say, you've got one-to-one, more than one-to-one, and now you've got a short in a bit of an unstable market. A good thing to have. Patience has been my best asset lately. Last few trades have been 8-hour cradles. 8 out of 10 have hit one-to-one. Good on you, mate. Well done, Jeff. Stoked for you, buddy. It does take time to get to that patience, though. You're getting rewarded. And don't forget, you might have only got one-to-ones. You might have had a couple of runners, I'm not sure. But the aim of the game is to get your one-to-ones first, because that means you're managing your risk and you're taking good trades for the most part. And if you're 8 out of 10, that's 80% win-loss ratio. Very good. It's only a matter of time before we do see some runners and you do start to stack some massive profits if you haven't already been doing very well. But as you say, one-to-one is the goal. Flamingo, not much to do there again. We've got this 4-hour consolidation. Yes, there's been movements. It takes a bit of time, Jeff. I will not argue with that, mate. 2 years is not a great deal of time to give yourself that freedom and ability to make your own decisions forever. So good on you, mate. Good on you. Well done. From Flow we go to Phantom. There's not a lot going on there either. It's kind of par for the course at the moment, really, isn't it? We need to see if the market's going to step down or step up. There's not a great deal here with all these sideways consolidations. We've looked at the 8-hour. We've seen that it's already happened. We look at the 12-hour. The candle's too big or it's just not working. We need that step down or that step up so we can start to get some trends in play, because a lot of this sideways stuff is not going to do much good for us unless we're looking for breakouts. In which case we still have to wait quite some time for those to set up. We're really faced with the opportunity here of, are we going to move lower to break this lower low, or will we set a higher low here and we move higher? Don't know. We have to wait. God, I got an itchy nose. Oh, always happens when I'm doing a scan. Hot. Nothing to touch there on hot. Horby. As you can see, it's been pretty messy chart structure-wise. Look at this big range between sort of, I don't know, $9, so $8.60 and $10. Been some wild movements in there, but really not going anywhere, to be fair. Humanscape's been sideways for a long time after, a decent move earlier in the week. Not much going on there. IOTA, very similar looking chart. Very, very sideways. Carver, sideways. Can't do much with that. If it breaks above here and we start to get some trend, perhaps there'll be more activity. But right now, it's a no for me. I had this in my list yesterday as well on Kin for a short off of this. The problem, however, that was presented to me is it was very, very thinly traded. See this chart, how it looks real blocky and little dots everywhere? That suggests to me that the volume on this is very, very low. Now, the volume being low means that my risk increases because of the annoyance of slippage, not having enough liquidity to fill orders on the way in and on the way out. What it does is it adds more risk, and therefore not tradable for me. It did move though. Hey, Lou. Cobb had a pullback, boom, and a nice move. It needs to carry itself through again. Let's look at the trends that are showing the best. The 8-hour really has a little bit more clarity than anything else, but it's not good enough yet. Let's go lower. Yeah, that's messy too. Again, we move on. Let's have a look. 12. The trend's there, but there's no trade. Yeah, nothing there of interest on Kusama. Lena, sideways on the 4, no interest. Don't forget, I used the 4 as my midterm trend for the lower time frames. So if I've got a 4-hour trend, I can then move down to the 2, the 1, the 30, and the 15. So that's how I use it. So if there is no trend there, it's unlikely I'm going to find anything else that I'm interested in. Link has taken out those lows, but it's not done it with very much enthusiasm, and there's nothing there for me. Looping, look at what it did. Came right back, tested that level, sold right back off. But again, not now. Litecoin, well, lower high, lower low. It's just, if I'm going to say that I'm looking to short that, then I've got to work myself. I've got work to do on myself. It's not what I'm after. It's not ready yet. Litecoin is of no interest to me. Neither is Luna unless it pulls a further downside move. As you can see, there is very little to work with trend-wise, and that's what we do. We trade trends. A quick look at how this looks on the weekly. Where are we? Okay. Doesn't tell me too much. It's in the cradle zone, but there's not really any trend there. Matic sideways as well. Oh, we've been cursed by an Easter sideways move. Sideways in here on mid. We are being cursed by, well, I shouldn't say cursed. It is what it is. And I tell you what, if we're going to see very little market activity over the weekend, can it please be tomorrow and Sunday? Because I'll be working Monday, but tomorrow, this guy is going fishing. Yeah. And Sunday, I'm going for bushwalks with my children. So those 2 days, I will be more or less out of action. Near, still very sideways, still very choppy. What happened to the dirty mo? Oh, I got rid of it, mate. I just let it rock for a little while. And then went, that thing's itchy, and it's going. OKB, again, a very messy looking chart. Yes, there is a higher low, but again, the 8 takes that away. There is no 8-hour trend. Starting to see a bit more surge in the market at the moment with the higher low, higher high, new higher low. Will we push on higher? That's the million-dollar question right now. And if we are to push on higher, how long will it take to get those trends back in play? Because that's what we're ultimately after. Bit of a dip there on perp. Let's have a look. Straight line move. Not enough cyclicity for me just yet. Go back to that 30 quickly. Yeah, there's not enough there for me. Yeah, I'd love it to go higher. I really would. I'm happy to take a time out and, wait for those trends for another few more days because market going up is good. Just want those trends back and then to follow through, Geez, we haven't had many big runners of late just because we haven't had the market doing any one direction for long enough. There have been some moves, right? But the cyclicity it's been there. But a lot of the good trades have been on the higher time frames, which that's fine. But we want to see it continue. There's nothing like getting into a strong bull market where you enter a trade and you end up having 6 running and they're all in massive profit. Or a downtrend for that matter, I should say. Pundi, no, too aggressive on its movements there. Qtum, again, stuck in that sideways range. Ray, sideways, very, very sideways. Reef, sideways to slightly up on the fall, but ain't nothing there of interest to me. What do we got here? Nothing. Okay, good to know. I'm going to leave it. Goodbye. Rook, very spiky, not the greatest of chart structure. Have a look at the 15. See, there's that thin market chart. I can look at that. I don't need to go to the order book. I can look at this chart and go, that is not optimal chart structure. We teach this stuff at the very base level course, which is the Become a Trader course, which is absolutely free on the website. And that's that. Hernan's got a question. How long does it take to switch to full-time trading? That's a real how long was a piece of rope type question there, mate. It's when you've got your, say monthly outgoings and you know how much they are and your trading is at least performing better than that on a consistency basis over at least 12 months. So an averaged out over 12 months. If you've been making more money from your trading and you've done it over a consistent amount of months, not just 1 month where it all went really well, but consistently managing your risk and managing your trades, that is a really good indication for when you're ready for it. It's not just about making money. It's about making sure that you've got the ability to continuously get those results because consistency is the only way you can do this full time. And that's what I'm saying about when markets are a bit messy like this. we do need to step back a little bit. Now, that may mean that we don't trade as much during a month of, April. That's fine. I would rather not trade much because the conditions aren't good than trade lots in a poor trading month and hemorrhage my money away, lose my money. I'd rather keep it. We will get some periods during the year where we do get great trading conditions and we'll do really well. We'll get other periods where we can chip away and make a little bit, but it's about being consistent over a large sample set is probably the best way of putting it. Rune. So there's not a time. It's like, oh, yep, count down the clock. 9, 8, 7, now you're full time. It's all about you and what you need and where your results are at. Rune is rather messy. I want to have a quick look at that in the weekly though. Yeah, it's in the right spot, but that's about it. Sand, still stuck in that sideways. One thing I have noticed, however, is that the entire market is pretty much in lockstep with itself. What I mean, no worries, mate. What I mean by in lockstep with itself is that everything's moving more or less the same at the moment. There are a couple of exceptions, but not many. So if the market does turn and go back up, we may be looking at a really, really good market-wide move. I'm hopeful of it, but don't forget, hope is not a strategy. Am I investing based on hope? No. Am I trading based on hope? No, 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 no. No room for that. Okay, there's nothing there on scale on the weekly. Just thought I'd have a bit of a deeper dive. Synthetics needs to break up through this high. Then we've got an uptrend. Until we see that high broken, we don't, because that's a single candle pullback, and one candle pulling back does not constitute an uptrend. 2 candles is what we need. Solana still holding low, but in that consolidation. Serum needs to step out above here. As much of the market does, it needs to step its way out, or out, either out to an uptrend or out to a downtrend, or a continuation of that downtrend. Because we are kind of crippled at the moment by the amount of sideways activity that we have in here now. Nothing of interest at all there. Sushi, still sideways. Sideways. Check Theta on the weekly. Oof. That doesn't look quite so nice. Nothing there of interest. Nothing there on Tomo. True has some support down here to keep an eye on. That is about all that it does have. Tron is also sideways. Hear about Justin Sun now suggesting he'll buy Twitter as well. I'm not sure if that's just an attention-seeking heat missile or, I don't know. Just seems like a weird one. Saw Tron, thought of him. There you go. Uniswap. Do I always trail my stops? Yeah, absolutely, mate. When it comes to trading, yeah, absolutely. Uptrends, higher lows, downtrends, lower highs. Always make the plan before you take the trade. So there will be occasions where, let's say I take it on the 4 hour, but I'll trail my stop on the daily. That, if I'm to do that, that needs to be written down and captured prior to the trade being filled. The plan needs to be made before I get filled. If I get entered into a trade and I haven't written any prior comments as to how I'll manage it, then I shall manage it based upon my rules, which is simply 1-to-1, and then manage the higher lows and lower highs for our stop loss management. V-chain also very sideways. Where are we on the weekly? So you can see we've had a couple of weeks of momentum up, but you can still see a lot of these weeklies still have their moving averages crossed to the downside, which means they're not really tradable on those sorts of time frames. Wasn't it a sad story for Waves? I mean, it did so well. I mean, it has still done so well from the start of the year, but look how far it's pulled back. Youch. Youch. I will add to it, Bobby, that there are times when we're in a really strong market where I may not take 1-to-1. I'll leave it open and let the thing go. I haven't had those sorts of markets for quite some time. So yeah, it's strictly 1-to-1 risk management. Scale out. First job to be done is 1-to-1, so I can kind of get rid of that risk. And it's a good place. It's a good way to do it. It really is, and it makes sense. It gives you, mental clarity that you're not doing anything silly or that you're sticking to a plan. Like it does make you feel comfortable when you can rinse that risk away quite quickly. XRP up 3%. We're starting to see a little bit more buying coming into the market right now. As we can see, look at the 15-minute here. starting to really carry through. Now, I'm not looking for any trades at this stage. I'm mentioning this because we do now on XRP have a higher low and a higher high on that 4. If we're going to see further upside, that's what we want to see. We want to see these trends start to come in. Let them play out a little bit more. Perhaps look for the next pullback as our entry point. If you are really keen and you've got good cyclicity through other time frames, there is nothing wrong with going down to the lower time frames, looking for your 30-minute cradles, 15-minute cradles, 1 hour, or boosters or breakouts, depending on if you've done the course. So, yeah, there's a fair bit going on right now that we need to consider, but we need to let the market do its thing first. Yeah, Hernan, yeah, Terry did a great series in the community there about his different methods, and the reason we've got it in there is because I want everybody to be able to learn and make their own decisions. The way that I do it is a bit of a mix, but certainly the whole point of the community and those videos that are there 6 days a week is to just give you the information. At the end of the day, our job here, and our motto, so to speak, is to help you become the best trader you can be. You, that's you, not me, that's you. So the additional information there, I went through with a fine-tooth comb with Terry, and I liked it. So I said, yeah, sure, let's put it up as a series. And that's what you see. Plenty of little gems in that community, in the video archives there, guys. Just go hit the search function, have a little dig around. Any questions you may have, hit us up on either in the community or on the website, the chat box. Zcash, nothing there. Zilliqa, well, a humongous move and then a very steep pullback and not much going on since. ZRX, very ugly looking chart as well. Geez, I've come in to do this on pretty average market conditions right now. I must say, it's not pretty. There's not many options. Shiva's just all over the show, no interest. Mango, it's very, very thin. Again, I'll show you. See that? That's a thin market, and this is what happens in thin markets. We can have very, very big sell-offs very, very quickly. Look, inactivity. Someone comes in and hits a market sell, and bam, for a 10 grand position or something, they just dump the price. They dump the price. You know, it's not a wise thing to be trading super, super, super thin markets. C98, nothing of interest. Spell. What do we got down here? If we can do this. Step down. We'll have a downtrend. It does look a little bit thin though. Doesn't look too bad. But again, we're not there yet. Not many, if any, currently are. Morning, Big Keith. Civic, again, another one that's working out what it's going to do. Cello or cello, whatever you want to call that. Nothing there either. Mana, no thanks. And we're back to Bitcoin. Wowee. That is the smallest list I have ever done on a full 35-minute scan of FTX listed products. And that just goes to show there is not a great deal around. The only option that I have of any validity right now that I'd consider is Binance. Now, it's not a breakout just yet. If you know what the breakout is, you know what you're watching and waiting for. What I have got this in for is this flat level. If we are to see the market push down through there, then a pullback into that 411 level could certainly be a cradle or a booster for us to take throughout the day. Okie dokie. Well, I make it seem simple, Hernan, because I've been doing it for, I think, 17 years now. It can become simple, like with any skill set. The more time that you spend, and you not just spend doing it, but listening, learning, working through, but also making sure you've got the course material by your side, or you can ask questions. It's important to be able to understand what it is you're looking to do. Often what people do is they'll go and think they know what they're doing. They think they're doing what they learn. But if I were to go back and review, say something as simple as trend or support and resistance, some of the key factors for the trading strategies, they may actually find that they might not be looking at it, or they might be looking at it usually in a too complex way. The hardest thing sometimes to do is to simplify things. We often overcomplicate things in our brains. I don't know why, but the best thing you can do is try and do a bit of revision. It is a simple process. It's usually our heads that make the noise. Okay, there you go. And again, thank you very much, guys. Please like, share, subscribe, share with your buddies. We have a 25% off sale for the Become a Master course, as well as our annual subscription on both community and live trading floor for a couple of days only. It is our Easter sale, and it is your opportunity to get a very good discount. You guys have a fantastic Easter. Take it easy, go well, and I will speak to you again very soon. Bye for now.